Order! Order! You are an incorrigible delinquent at times. Behave yourself, man!
Well, if you spent any time discussing politics online, you'll have run into people on all sides who claim the official narrative isn't to be trusted. Who unleashed a chemical attack in Duma? Did such an attack even take place? And sometimes it seems you need a whole new vocabulary to understand what's being alleged. Here's BuzzFeed's James Ball on the lingo you need to know to wade through the murky world of conspiracy politics.
Conspiracy theorists, crackpot critics with outlandish ideas, right out on the fringes. Absolutely. But right now they're everywhere, especially on social media. Here's my guide to their terminology. False flag. An attack or atrocity that's been carried out by someone other than the group blamed. The UK government was responsible for the poisoning of Russian double agent Sergei Skripal and his daughter Yulia. Chemical attacks were staged by their supposed victims. Total nonsense, but these theories get thousands of shares across social media. Crisis actors. People employed to play the victims of atrocities or terror attacks. This year, a picture of the same girl at the Manchester Arena attacks, the Sandy Hook shooting and the Parkland school shootings circulated online. But it wasn't the same person at all. The same was said of David Hogg, a 17-year-old who hid in a closet to survive the Parkland school shooting. According to some people online, he's a paid 27-year-old actor. These lies are hugely damaging to the people they target. But once they're shared among thousands of people, the myth overwhelms the reality. Deep State. The network of unelected officials in the intelligence community who are working to undermine democracy. This could be by reversing Brexit or rigging elections. You hear this one a lot in relation to Donald Trump. They plan to disarm American citizens and overthrow the president. It's one theory, I suppose. So why is the deep state using crisis actors to stage false flag attacks? Well, it's all to create FUD, or fear, uncertainty and doubt, so that we all follow their hidden agenda. So, is that clear?
And the freelancer James Ball, who doesn't now work for BuzzFeed, he's here in the studio with us. Welcome. Is it the case that this sort of thing, James, has always been with us? It's just that social media has made it easier to find?
Oh yeah, we've always had conspiracy theories, from JFK to Roswell to the moon landings, and they've always been a bit more mainstream than we'd like to think. But what happens now is they're really easy to boost, and you've got a lot of quite nasty actors boosting them. You know, you have the Russian state push out misinformation. Assad is quite good at it. So you've got these situations where they'll take the reasonable doubts that people have and just fuel it into something nastier. Right,
and it's not just confined then to the darker corners of the internet, is it?
Oh no, you can find this stuff all over the place, and it's amazing what reach sort of can be got. I mean, it's brilliant that Facebook gives people who wouldn't usually get on the TV, wouldn't usually get their views out there, stuff there, but things like the sort of kids who survived a school shooting, who are then being accused of being adults who are being paid to fuel a conspiracy. You know, you've watched your friends die and then someone puts that out there and it reaches 1 million people. That's quite a scary thing, and we've got to work out how to deal with it.
Who do you think is the most worrying? What's the most sort of destructive currently at the moment?
I think each of them in their own way sort of gets destructive, because anytime you're telling a real story, there's some confusion, there's always some gaps, there's some contradictions. After a terror attack, everything's confusing, you try and work it out. And when those gaps are used to sort of undermine trust in sort of good media, in sort of independent journalism, in governments, it more and more sort of corrodes what holds us together.
Do you accept that it happens on both the right and the left?
It does. It's a battle for the command of the narrative. And that's what's so worrying about it. In the old days, it used to be something you'd only find in the Fortean Times. It was just a small group of people who were obsessed about it. Now, the President of the United States is doing it, the Premier of Russia is doing it, everyone's doing it.
Except, are any of these allegations true?
I mean, every now and then one of them turns out to be true. You know, Iran-Contra was appalling, that was real. You know, you do have, you know, we've stirred up propaganda and misinformation in Iraq and other countries as part of our efforts. And so you've always got to be sceptical But it's when that scepticism gets exploited and turned into conspiracy.
But it's about scepticism. The whole thing. It's about making everyone sceptical. At some point you've got to be able to find the actual truth rather than be sceptical about everything.
Exactly. And sort of the problem on social is the conspiracy version of a story is always sexier and more exciting than the real one. Even with real stories like Cambridge Analytica or something like that, something serious has gone on, but the big grand theory of this master conspiracy. Look at these people. They can barely run a government, let alone a secret
I think real
one.
life's quite exciting at the moment, particularly in politics.
Finger,
but anyway, it's not a conspiracy, but I'm afraid I'm going to end that discussion. Thank you. That's it for today.